Hello. Hey, Mom.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You gotta put that closer to her.
Closer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
Right up in there. And you can get right up on it, kind of. Oh, I can actually lower
Let's
it a little
test,
bit.
Dad.
All right. How's it sound?
That's actually good. Do you want a little closer?
What? Oh, how's it?
Yeah. Rob,
What?
put my dad's a little closer.
That's all right.
We'll just move the...
This here moves.
Yeah, just scoot it towards you.
Oh, maybe sit in the chair.
There you go.
Okay.
I know
Is
it's
it
kinda
too
right up in your
close to
grill.
you now?
No,
Let
talk,
me
Dad.
see. All right.
Okay. Let her roll.
Yeah, I hear you pretty well.
Okay.
You might want to get closer to yours, though, Darla.
I know I gotta scoot my chair
I
closer.
know it's kind of a bad stand for you, but put it right. Don't be afraid to.
It's all right. Okay, that's good.
Well, here we are. So just a few minutes ago,
Wait, we're recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Thanks for making it awkward.
Oh.
Hey, so just a few minutes ago, I put up a post in Facebook, and it was about the year. I was just going to read it to you guys, if you don't mind. We are actually, tonight is the last day of 2021. So it's kind of a big deal to all of us. I don't know what plans we have other than to sit here and talk into microphones. But let me give you a little reading of this, if you don't mind. To focus on the positives of 2021. I'm still happily married to Darla for over 17 years. I stuck to my last New Year's Eve resolution and I lost 46 pounds this year. My dad survived a stroke and is getting way better and he's thriving. My father-in-law Ted had his cancer screening and is cancer-free. I tried VR for the first time and really loved it. I wrote and recorded a bunch of new songs, and many of them will be on a new solo album coming out in early 2022. My daughter announced her engagement to be married to her boyfriend McLean. Stereo members still got to play some really amazing shows this summer. I really love my job and my coworkers. Darla and I bought an amazing dream car we named Higgy, the British Racing Green Mini Cooper. I sang the national anthem at the Mariners game. And I became a hockey fan.
Yay!
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's probably a bunch of other things I'm forgetting. Yes, there were a lot of very tough times. We did lose our Frankie baby bulldog Benson. And that was really tough.
Googly-eyed.
Googly-eyed, yeah. We missed so many shows we probably would have gone to. We didn't see, and this is to Facebook, as we didn't see most of you at all. Much at all. That's okay if that's just the heater in the background. It's cold. We had a really bad football year, and a lot of our friends ended up getting COVID. But we all made the best of it, and today we are home, hanging out tonight with my mother-in-law Rose and father-in-law Ted and my wife Darla, and we get to chill out and be safe and enjoy the night, and likely we will turn in before the ball drops. But who knows? But you know what? That's okay with me. I love my family. I love my life. And I'm still hopeful that we can turn it all around in 2022. Oh, and one last thing. R.I.P. Betty White. So let's turn out the lights on 2021. So, yeah.
Welcome to the Robb and Darla Show.
Welcome to the Robb and Darla Show. This is the first one this year. We've done 3 in total.
Are you going to turn that on for
I guess so. Should
my
we turn
parents?
That? Can we turn it
Yes.
on? Yeah, I won that. I should have added that to the thing.
Check it out, Dad.
What's that?
Rob won that.
Oh.
Stella, I
Yeah.
forgot I was going to show that to you. Oops. I won that at the car show. It was outdoor, so we could all go to it still this year. And
Raffle
we bought some
tickets.
raffle tickets, and I won a bar sign, Stella. Which is funny because I don't drink Stella at all. But I don't even drink beer anymore. But I like the sign. And it reminds me of when we used to first go to the Third Place pub, and they didn't have your favorite. Back in the day when you drank some beers, what was the beer you liked? Miller?
Yeah, regular Miller.
Regular Miller, and they didn't have that.
Or Miller Draft in a bottle.
Yeah. So
It wasn't light.
so you had to settle for Stella back then.
Yeah. And also, I like that movie when Marlon Brando down in New Orleans was screaming out, Stella! You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. And I remember you used to yell to the
Caleb.
or Jake, whoever it was at the time, when you needed the next one.
Yeah.
Stella.
Oh.
Or barkeep.
Barkeep, whoever it was. Yeah.
Was it? Oh.
So you guys been married a while. I mean, I mentioned Darla and I 17 years. You guys are a little ways past that.
Almost over 3 times that, 4 times that almost. 4 times 17.
So you guys, what advice would you give to younger couples that are just getting married and want to make it as far as you have?
Rose?
I don't know what advice to give them.
You
Just
must-
don't let things bother you.
Oh, that's
Advice?
good advice. Yeah.
Make sure you have the same interests. We don't have any interests, but same interests, but we lasted all
Yeah.
these years.
Well, I do know
Sure.
that Rose laughs at your jokes still, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
And I know you appreciate how hard she works and all the things she's done. You know.
Yep, that she didn't like sports, but she put up with it.
Well, that helps.
Her famous saying is, "Another ball game." That's what I hear every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah. Well, Darla has. It actually surprised me quite a bit because she's really swung towards sports. When I first met Darla, she really wasn't. She didn't have any interest in it at all, and now she kind of. Now it's almost a day doesn't go by she's not wearing some sort of sports item, whether it's a hat or a shirt or sweatshirt or socks or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I didn't expect that. I didn't see that
Yeah.
coming.
And
Neither did I.
another reason I said that back in Wisconsin, you weren't there when we were celebrating our 60th anniversary, and everybody was there, and I said, well, the only reason I've been married 60 years is I like all our brothers. That's
Well, that's always good too when you get along with their family members.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
Should've-
it's funny. I never had a son. I always wanted a son, and yet I got 3 nephews living next door. So that's, at least I have nephews. I
yeah.
can go next door and play with and my sister has 3 really awesome boys as well, but they live in Renton, so it's a little tougher to get to go see them.
Yeah. Are they still in the same house that we were there with Daly?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys go out there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Daly was with us.
We went at Christmas time.
Yeah, we used to go. We try to go on Christmas time, but then it just seemed like we did so many things. I always go to my dad's on one, and that's in Mount Vernon. That's the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And then to turn around and head back up to Renton, it's just one heck of a long day. And COVID, we all had to kind of stay apart from everybody this year. We've basically just had this compound here in this place.
So we'd like for you, Mom and Dad, and Mom, you can start, share a childhood memory. Or we can go to Dad if you want to think about it. All right, Dad, you're up first.
All I can remember is being around the grocery store, and a lot of nights I'd be home by myself because my folks were working, but I could eat what I wanted from the store, and I never hardly ever ate supper with them because they were always interrupted. People would come in buy groceries, and they'd have to stop. One of them would try to eat while the other one's taking care of the people, and also by the time dinner time come in the evening, I wanted to be out of the store anyway, and I like delivering groceries the best because I could drive to people's houses. But there was one house I didn't like to do because there was a dog that was outside the house, but it must have been a neighborhood dog or something. But I always had to try to sneak out the back door or something. And one time my brother was delivering groceries, and the car got stuck in the snow, and he went back into this house that we were delivering groceries. I wasn't with him. It was just my brother and my dad. And Bob, we didn't know nothing about cats. And Bob drug out the person's cat litter box and threw it under the tires with his gloves and everything. And, and you know, to get out of the snow. And then he gets in the car, and my dad says, throw those damn gloves out the window. But,
That's awesome.
see, we didn't know nothing about pets.
You guys didn't have pets.
So, yeah. So when he saw that box, he thought, oh boy, he lucked out. There was something I could throw under the tires,
Yeah.
like sand and stuff.
But it is a lot like that, though. I'm sure that would work.
Yeah. Mary Coolidge. that was the name of the person. And she was, her daughter was a redhead, but anyway. Very nice people.
For people that don't know the backstory, when you explain the store, your parents owned a store. It was the grocery store, but it wasn't like a Safeway you would go to today. It was a small community grocery store that they had back in those days, right?
There was all kinds of them. There was no chain outfit in there.
So there was no big store, no grocery.
But your dad was a butcher.
That's right, and that's why there was a lot of other little stores, but there was only a few stores where they had butchers. And my dad was a butcher before my grandpa opened up this store.
Oh, your grandpa opened the store.
Yeah, but and my dad had 4 brothers, but he built the store for my dad.
Oh.
Because my dad was the only one that was a butcher. So anyway.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. Yeah. Hey, you've told me a lot of really interesting, fun stories about that place.
Yeah.
But you sort of worked there after school or something, or?
Yes. The best part I liked was the ad machine keeping track of the credit.
Oh yeah, you've always been into numbers.
You always had to have, you always had to have credit back in those days, and people buy groceries on credit. And I think I told you before, there's some families would spend $50 a week on groceries and they'd pay $40.
So you were the credit card company, basically.
Yeah, my mother lost a lot of money when that store, but people never paid her back.
And you wouldn't charge any interest or anything?
The other stores were charging, no. And other stores had credit too, see. That's the way it was back then. You buy groceries on credit.
Wow.
But the first chain outfit was A&P. I don't know if you ever heard of that chain outfit. Atlantic and Pacific. That was the name of the chain outfit grocery store.
Oh, no. I haven't heard
But see, the times were changing. And the small grocery stores couldn't compete with as good. So business was slowly going downhill.
Oh.
But
Wasn't the AMP like a convenience store, like 7-Eleven?
No.
Okay.
It was a chain outfit. You could always look it up someday. Atlantic and Pacific. I don't know if it's associated with anybody else now or not. But anyway, that's it as far as my childhood memories. And of course, baseball card.
Baseball cards, yeah, I've heard that story.
And I already told you about
yeah, you don't have to...
My dad used to point out which kids to watch because...
Oh, for stealing and things?
Yeah. There's a couple of kids in the neighborhood that... Sweeney Anderson's younger brother, he was light-fingered, but they couldn't get to a lot of things.
He was a light finger? Is that the term?
Yeah, a light finger for a stealer, or I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. That's another thing, yeah.
5-finger discount.
Yeah, 5-finger discount.
So
our friend's band was called that for a long time. It's funny because when she first, somebody suggested the band name to her as Julia, her old band, her solo band. Julie Massey and the 5-finger discount, and then she said she didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
And when she found out, she was kind of bummed out. She's like, "Oh man, if I'd have known what it meant, I wouldn't have named my band that."
Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess.
So, Mom.
Well, I was the oldest, and with all brothers, and they always thought that I got my own way because I was the only girl, and I never thought I ever got my own way, so we didn't agree with on that. And one of the memories that I can remember so much was one of the times when, and I don't know if it's kind of like a scary memory though. I was, and it happened when my brother was pretty little, and my dad drove into the driveway, and he always come in really slow, which he did that day too. My brother ran right out into the car, and the wheel went over him, and but I mean he was crying. So then my dad got, they immediately drove to Richland Center, which was like about 8.5 miles from Boaz to get there, go to the hospital or to actually it was a doctor's office that he went to, and I rode in the car with him, and it was just kind of scary and sad because Bob was crying all the time, because he was probably just as scared, probably more than being hurt, although he was hurt too. They did take some stitches in his head. But I just, it's just one of those memories that you always just remember, and it's like your heart is kind of in your throat. It just like everything just changes. But I remember after we got there, my grandma lived in Richland Center. So he drove down to my grandma's house to tell her what had happened. We didn't have phones or anything to call people back and forth like that. And he went down to tell her, and I remember that's the first time I ever saw my father cry. And he started to tell my grandma, who had come out from her house and was standing, beside the driver's side. And my dad just kind of broke down, and that's the first time I ever saw my father cry.
Wow.
But he still was very emotional. Sometimes people just get the wrong idea because he's always had this glum look and everything, that that he's mad about something,
Sure.
But he really wasn't. That was, I guess it's like your character is, sometimes you look tougher or rougher than you really are.
Oh yeah.
And that you're a very loving person,
Yeah.
and he was.
Oh,
So,
that's nice.
and he
But wait,
always, and we had to watch out for my mother. We had to take care of her.
Yeah.
That's what he would always tell us.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
But about your brother, what happened? Was he okay? Everything?
oh, yes, he came out fine.
Okay.
He's still going today.
Yeah, right. And he's just the
but-
one right below you, or
No,
Oh,
he's
couple below you.
he's three brothers away. Let's see.
It must
there's
get
Gene.
confusing.
Okay, yeah, it does. I have to stop and count.
yeah.
Okay, Gene, and then
Gene,
it's
that's
Dennis.
Gary.
You forgot.
Oh, I get Dennis. Okay, Gene. No, first. Okay.
yeah, name them all.
Gene, Dennis, Gary,
Gary, Bob.
Robert, and then Alvin. And then finally, I got a sister after a lot of 16 years of waiting.
You waited a long time.
Right. And then Diana was born. And then after Diana was David. And then, let's see, after David.
Come on, think of them.
Yeah.
Your brother.
Linda and Daryl.
Okay.
Okay. Did I get 10 of them? I didn't miss anyone, did I?
I wasn't listening. Did you name Linda?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, got him.
I said Linda and Daryl.
Ted's got it easier. He's got a
Linda
shorter
and Daryl
list.
are the two youngest ones.
So, Mom, I remember a story that you told me when you guys were, it was you and Uncle Gene and Uncle Dennis crossing the river.
Oh, yes, yes.
The creek one.
Yeah, we lived in, if you crossed from in front of our house, there was a field there, and it was an empty field, but but I think they mowed grass in it once in a while in the fall while they'd make hay and that, but it really never had crops growing in it. And then if you crossed the whole field, which is probably like about an acre, you would come to the creek, which flowed right through the middle of town. And so we'd go there, and on the creek, and there's a cheese factory that was right on the other side. There's something to do with the cheese factory too, that they must have needed to be where there's water that was moving, but it was on the other side. So what we would do is we walk down there. We weren't supposed to be there at all, but that didn't matter. And we would walk down there, and we would get on our hands and knees, and the log was for growing up. Older people walked across on it, but we were younger, so we walked across crawling. So first, Gene was the bravest. He'd go first. I'd go second, and then Dennis was right behind us. And Dennis lost his balance right out in the middle and fell off the log into the water, which was over his head. In fact, it was over probably both of our heads. So here we are, Gene and I, we're petrified. We're on the opposite shore. So, and Gene was really brave. I mean, even though, so he grabbed a hold of my hand, and I was on the bank, the very bank, so he could reach out, and we could reach out as far as we could with our two arms and that, and he grabbed Dennis and pulled him in. And then, of course, here we are soaking wet, and we really got in trouble when we walked home, and my mother saw her 3 drenched kids. She was not very happy, and I don't blame her.
How old do you think you were?
Oh, gosh, I don't even remember. Well, there weren't all my brothers and sisters that was the 3 oldest ones. So that was probably about it. Could be.
Oh, and then your first movie.
Oh, my first movie was actually the very first one. I don't know if that would be called the first. That's the first one I went to the theater to see, was The Wizard of Oz.
Wow. That's a good one to start with, huh?
Yeah, right.
That's pretty
Then
good.
after that, I never got to, that was in Richland Center too. You had to drive. You had to be over there.
But that was with Uncle Gene and
and
Uncle
Dennis.
Dennis.
Yeah.
The three
there
of
was
you
3
again.
of us. Yes, that was. I forgot about that. Yes. What happened was when the Wicked Witch of the West showed her, talked and had her scary part, Dennis got really frightened and he started to cry. And he wanted to leave. And I kept saying to him, Dennis, look at her. You can tell it's paint. The inside of her mouth is not green, and I kept telling him that because I was glued to that movie. I did not want to leave. But then thank goodness Gene, either he did it because maybe he was a little scared.
Yeah.
I think about it, he could have been too. But anyway, he took Dennis out into the lobby, where they have the popcorn and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was so relieved because I got to stay and see all of it.
Oh, that's awesome. That must have been cool. The big screen for the first time,
Oh.
Yeah. And it was in color or black and white? Black and white back then?
Color.
No,
It was in
it was
color?
in color.
Remember?
Oh, my.
The movie starts out
First.
black and white.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. And then
Oh.
it changes to color when she gets caught up in the...
Oh, wow.
Tornado.
That must have been awesome. So, Ted, I assume at that point you'd already seen movies and stuff.
Yeah.
He went all the time.
We had 2 movie theaters in town,
Uh-huh.
and they're on the same block downtown. So I'd go every movie, no matter what it was. I didn't like the musicals as much as stuff. But I remember about one of the earlier ones was Gone with the Wind. I went with my sister.
Oh, wow. That
And
seems
so-
kind of adult for a kid to go to.
Yeah, well, and anyway, somebody hollered fire.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody's supposed to holler fire in this
Yeah.
movie.
Somebody actually did that?
Yeah, I always remember that.
Did you leave
But,
or did you
no,
just...
everybody started to, but then the cameraman or one of us, we had ushers back then.
Yeah, it
too.
was
Oh.
Usher. Probably the Usher.
And,
Okay.
and they'd shout it out, there's no fire, real loud.
Oh,
It was just some joker.
some joker.
You know, where they
yeah.
say, never holler fire in the theater.
Yeah, yeah.
This guy did. I
Wow.
always remember that. I was going with Carol.
Yeah, because people say that line a lot. Never yell fire in a crowded theater or whatever.
But that.
He always was. He went to a lot of movies.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Even when we were first married, he went all the time. I just didn't go.
Oh, you just go by I'm going out to a movie. See ya.
Yeah.
She had to sort of break me with a habit.
What's your favorite movie?
She had to break you of that.
Well, I would rather stay home and read a book. I mean, that's seriously.
No, I see you. To this day, you read all the time.
Yeah.
The favorite movie varies because favorite movie when I was a kid or favorite movie when.
Oh yeah, when you were a kid, and then later on, you could have different stages.
Yeah, but for a kid, I can't remember what movie right now I can think of offhand that I like the best. But favorite movie later on, of course, is The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. That's right.
Oh, wow.
Because of the music and that.
I don't even know if I've ever seen that.
Oh.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, but you were a lot older then.
Oh, I know. I said, but
Of all time.
But for a kid,
Yeah.
I'd have see back then they had cereals. You know what a cereal is? They'd run about a half hour, and they'd have about 15 episodes. You know, each week they'd have the person would be riding in a stagecoach or something, and the boat would come on loose, and the hero of the serial would be in the stagecoach, and it shows the stagecoach going off the cliff. But then you go back the next week, and then it shows him escaping before he goes. But they used to have all kinds of these.
Was that like
To
before
try
the
to
movie
get,
started?
Yeah.
Oh.
To get people to keep coming back to see what happened. when
like
they-
little mini movies
Right.
in between the movie or before the movie.
They had different characters, but I mean the stars, the serial. Yeah, that lasted for quite a bit of my childhood.
It probably, I remembered paying 15 cents to go to the movie in
Yeah.
Richmond Center, but it might have even been cheaper than that before I went a couple of times. Could have been 12 cents. It was so,
Wow.
when you think about
I know, well,
the value of our money.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
But well, they had some of the Western guys were in a serial, like they had Red Ryder. I don't know if you never heard him, but and then
No.
they had
Roy Rogers, Gene Autry.
yeah, but they were movies.
Those are movie stars?
Oh, you're just talking about
The little
The
pre
serial.
the,
The little
early
ones.
ones,
Yeah,
the
but
series things.
I think
Didn't they also show cartoons before or
yeah,
something sometimes?
always cartoons too,
Yeah.
and
That's where they had like what Casper or things like that, or is that where they came?
no,
not so much.
Tom and Jerry
Oh, Tom and Jerry would be
and
in
Mighty Mouse.
it. Oh, Mighty Mouse. Awesome.
There he comes.
To save
No.
the day.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of Mighty Mouse.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I named my last car.
Oh.
my Fiesta was Mighty Mouse.
And of course, later on when I was older, Roadrunner. You know,
Oh, Roadrunner.
beep,
Oh
beep.
yeah, I
was
love
on
it.
there.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
was later on, but that was
Yeah, those were all on regular TV when
Oh.
we were kids.
Then there was Donald Duck, Elmer Fudd,
And they just be short, like little.
yeah,
quick-
they'd run probably 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, and then the movie would come on.
Hacko and Jacko, all those.
That's cool. So you kind of got extras beyond the movie.
Oh yeah,
more than just the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then they'd have short subjects once in a while too. That'd run about a half hour or more.
Oh wow.
But Abbott and Lou Costello, I used to like the Bowery Boys too.
Mm.
They were regular movies, but they made a lot of them. And even Laurel and Hardy, but they were on their way out because Laurel and Hardy was before Abbott and Costello. Their famous commercial, Who's on First? You ever heard that? Who's on
Yeah,
First?
for sure.
Okay, that's Abbott and Costello.
Oh, that is. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
so,
great.
Yeah, but that's a poem. Who's on first?
no,
It's a
I don't-
comedy series as far as I know, but I don't know.
It's a comedy series.
It's a
It was the
routine.
first baseman named Who, but Abbott Costello, I don't know how it goes exactly, but he would say, "Well, who's on first?" And and the other guy would say, "Who's on first?" And his name, and the other guy's trying to time who is the first baseman.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was really twisted up good. But they could really get going good on it.
They do a play on that in that Prince movie, Prince and the Revolution. That Purple Rain or whatever. Is it Purple Rain? Is that what it's called? And then it's Maurice Day and the Time, and then his like the dude that works with them, and he's like, all right, so this gal's gonna come in, and when she comes in, we gotta have a password because I might have some other girls with me or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, the password is what? He's like, okay, well, what is it? It's okay, you know. Then they go back and forth between. They basically ripped off the same exact thing, you know, and just kind of played with it. But and instantly, I thought when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's the Who's on First thing.
Yeah.
You know?
But the Bowery Boys were really popular. They were so good.
Interesting. I'd never even heard of them.
I never did either. Till just now.
Yeah. Well, just take the Bowery's part of New York City.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
It was really fun. They were good. But you probably could look them up on the computer would be on there. But always look forward to those movies. But Carol and Jim, that's all there was for entertainment. They had the twins. They were born in '51, but one of them would go to a movie one night. They always liked movies, and then Jim would go the other night. You know, they never went to movies together because one of them always had to stay home.
Interesting.
And I go over there and babysit. One time I was over there babysitting, and I opened up the cupboard to get something to eat, and it was a cabinet and I broke a cookie jar up above. It fell down, and my mother happened to be there too, babysitting with me to babysit the twins, and the flour was all over the kitchen.
Oh my!
But anyway, I used to listen to basketball games too all the time on the radio.
I can relate to that.
Keep score.
Yeah, and there's something about a really good play-by-play announcer on radio. They can almost paint the picture to where you can almost see it in your head.
See, that's all we had.
Yeah, no, that's when I was a kid. The same thing. Our parents didn't have TV or anything, so we just listened to Sonics on the radio.
Well, TV come here in Kenosha a lot sooner than Richland Center because Richland Center was surrounded by hills, and it was the closest stations were La Crosse and Madison, and we finally could get two stations. But down here, in Kenosha, they could get Chicago and Milwaukee. With rabbit ears.
When did you finally move to, was there a stopping point between Kenosha and Richland Center? Was there somewhere else that you two lived together?
No.
You just went straight to Richland Center?
West Dallas. We lived, that's a suburb of Milwaukee.
Oh, Milwaukee.
When we first got married, I drove back and forth to Kenosha.
Oh.
Darla knows that drive.
But you lived out here.
Huh?
Oh, you did live out here.
Tacoma for about a year.
Richland Center.
Yeah, interesting.
I lived off post, though. I still had to go in once in a while.
That was a military thing.
Yeah.
You served out here.
Yeah.
Fort Lewis, right?
Yeah.
And you've mentioned you thought you'd never ever have to come back here.
Well, first I was out here in Boeing. I worked for Boeing.
Oh, okay.
And Darla's lucky I came back to Wisconsin.
That's right, so I wouldn't be here.
Because when I was out in Boeing, I was single.
You were homesick. That was kind of a done deal.
Yeah.
And you had to be 21 to get a beer in Wisconsin.
And what was it in Wisconsin?
18.
Oh. Okay. Is it still that, or is it all 21 now?
All 21 because, the interstates and everything else, the money they cut out. They were threatened Wisconsin. It was a problem when I was in college because
drinking and driving.
Right. Well, because they would just go over to.
Don't mention that town because Andrew's dad would always laugh.
Oh yeah.
And he'd bring it up. He says, "Rose, what was that town you went to? It's called Dickeyville."
Well, it was right. It was a little town that had a bar in it that you could get into. Even in Platteville, when I was in college, you had to be 21 to get into it.
Madison was different. They had 21 bars and they had college bars.
Oh.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you couldn't get hard stuff in college bars. You had to be...
College bars were strictly beer.
Yeah, beer.
Oh. Okay, well that makes sense, I guess.
And then Richland's Center is the last city in Wisconsin to finally allow alcohol inside their
City limits.
city limits.
You couldn't
The
buy.
bowling lanes was outside.
I told her.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's kind of a novelty, which I liked it at the time. I thought that was great that we were different.
The driest
Yeah.
town, and then Frank Lloyd Wright is from Richland Center.
yeah.
Really?
Born in
Yes.
Richland Center.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, he's quite famous. So not a lot of people end up marrying the girl next door.
No, that's right.
But
But
she
I wasn't raised next door, though.
no. But she moved in when you were. How old were you both when you moved next door to Ted, Rose?
She's in college.
I was in college.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
I was.
I was in junior high.
No, he wasn't.
Well,
So you're both at that about same. It's pretty much the same age, and she moves next door. And what was your first thought, Ted? Wow, who is this gal moving next door? Was it something like that?
no.
No, he didn't even notice me.
Oh God!
I noticed you. You come home from church one time. We were playing softball in the yard, and you were batting and running around in your red dress and heels on, trying to be a ball player.
That's awesome.
But,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
But did you
So-
know yourself or know each other in high school?
No,
Oh, yeah.
I've only seen her once in high school.
What?
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
She gave a speech up on the stage. You were in forensics, or what do you call
Yeah, forensics.
it? All right.
Forensics in high school?
That's when, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And that was the only.
When I
that's
hear the
only-
word forensics, I think of like CSI or something.
No,
no.
they had.
It's acting.
Acting.
And you memorized
performance.
your parts and stuff,
Oh.
and then you would compete against other high schools.
It's
Gotcha.
fun- it's
You
fun-
know,
it's
that
fun-
were-
It's funny, I never noticed you in study hall, but I never had a study hall at the same time.
I didn't have very many
'Cause
study
you-
halls.
Yeah.
What was the speech?
What was what?
Or what was the forensic skit that you did?
You probably don't remember
Do you
that.
remember?
But
Do you remember, Dad?
What kind of speech it was?
Or skit? Or
when you're up on the stage,
Oh, when I did.
see, we
that.
have assembly. All the high school goes in there. But she was a year ahead of me, so we never had no classes. Although I was in classes with some of her, like Mary Twigs, not Twigs, but Mary. Mary.
Mary
Triggs.
Briggs.
No, Triggs.
No.
Mary Triggs.
Yeah, that was it.
TR.
Yeah.
And the trouble with that, my geometry teacher, he would, Mary sat right behind me, and he'd look right at us from the distance, and I couldn't tell whether he was saying Mary or Barry. You know?
He called the
He called the boys
by their
their
last.
last names.
oh, interesting.
So
Yeah, that would be confusing.
But
Yeah.
there was some classes where you, like world history, some of the things you had, you were in a different, the sophomores and juniors together or seniors, I don't know if
Yeah, I was thinking one of my history. One
Yeah.
of them were.
well, anyway.
Oh no, it was the math course, but he was also the coach. So all of they didn't even have to do the work, and they got B's for grades.
Oh, that was U.S. history. Mike Coyne,
Yeah.
complaining about. All right, we'll get off.
Well, he was a terrible teacher.
He's
It's one of the worst ones.
That's the
I've
only
had.
time our high school won a championship was when he was coach. But he was my B team basketball coach.
Well, he just had to teach something to be a coach. Back then it was somebody who was a teacher at the school.
Yeah.
They didn't hire just a coach.
All right.
So-
He had a nickname Horse because he looks sort of like a horse.
See
he
see
did.
how cruel people were then? They were
no.
just
Oh.
as awful as
I
they
remember-
are
I don't
now.
know if that's
I
changed
remember.
a whole lot.
I remember at football practice, you always had, like you see John Travolta and you see the gang that's not jocks and John Travolta.
Yeah.
What is that? Grease.
Yeah, the
Yes.
greasers. Yeah.
Okay, these grease guys come by in a convertible, and I was watching football practice, and they hollered out horse, and he took off running after him.
Oh.
And they drove away.
Wow.
But I don't know what would have happened if he would have caught him. You know,
Crazy.
but he definitely should have recognized him there in the high school.
Oh, man.
But you know that John Travolta movie, there was,
Yeah, had that
there
vibe
was
to it.
the greasers and
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
Well, I'll
And
tell
the
you what,
jocks.
if he hit him, I wouldn't.
he didn't catch him all. They
I
just
wouldn't be
floorboarded the car. But I remember that. But geez, they called him Horace.
Gee, I never ever heard him call him names.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
When my brother was the basketball team, my brother didn't play, but he's the manager where he handles.
Oh, yeah.
Sits on the bench with.
Yeah.
He told me one practice that Walt Beatley, he was a pretty tough guy, and he flipped. It might have been Mike Coyne or one of the coaches. They got in a fight during practice, and he actually flipped the coach over on the floor. But
Whoa.
yeah,
Well, I don't think your brother would lie about it.
no. But anyway.
Well, some things don't change, I guess.
I know, but nowadays you don't hear. Well, once in a while some kid hits a teacher, but
Yeah, usually,
he flipped him completely, and he had to wear a brace. The teacher did around,
my.
around school after, because the
Oh, my.
coach has always taught another subject. The main coach usually was a phy ed teacher, like basketball. And
But I'm just wondering how on earth they must have paid for him if he had to wear something.
he had to wear a collar.
Yeah.
Walt Beatley.
I don't even know what kind of insurance they had back in those
Well, I don't
days.
think there was on that, but
If they even had any.
well,
Who knows?
I don't know, we get off that high school days, but
well, it's interesting for all of us, I'm sure. I mean, thinking about it, like it's going to be 2022. Been quite a lot of changes since then.
oh.
I mean, do you ever think you'd see some of the things you see today, or?
No way. Especially, smartphones and that, nobody'd ever dream anything be like that. Where a little thing could do about everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
I mean,
Nobody thought of that probably 20 years ago. They never thought
Yeah.
of it.
how it'd just be in all of our pockets, and
Right.
When's the first time did you see somebody with a cell phone? I don't know. They were, maybe you don't remember, but
it was a while ago, but
it was in Walmart when I first got it, and he was showing off. I think I told you that. That he's standing in line, checkout line, and he's talking away. That's the first time I ever seen a cell phone, and that's one of those bigger jobbers.
yeah, like
too.
the big old brick. My dad had one of those in the
Maybe
late
not
80s.
quite big.
Had the brick. Or
I just
like-
remember it on TV shows.
They
when
used to
would
call it a
have
car
one in
phone.
the car.
yeah,
Yeah.
they'd be like plugged into your like cigarette lighter or something. I don't
No,
know.
his wasn't like that.
Mama car
It was a little
phone.
bit smaller, but
Yeah.
otherwise,
I mean, I was a pretty early adopter to the cell phone when it came out. It just seemed like easier than having a landline. But it was always a little flip phone. There was no texting or anything like that.
yeah.
Just a
oh, yeah. My first cell phone was just a flip phone.
yeah.
I was like, never
Well-
dreamed we'd be texting
I still-
words
You got anything else?
through the air.
Anything else?
No, I mean, I guess we've done quite a
Any
bit
other
of a
questions?
long interview already. But thanks for.
So
just
we
thought
could do a last round of any, as we're here on New Year's Eve, any thoughts,
going forward.
goals for 2022?
Well, 2021 was a lot better than what we thought it was going to be because we finally got a vaccine. So if you stop
Yeah.
and think about it, you think about how it seems like it was so long, but it really wasn't that long ago that we didn't have vaccines even.
You're right.
You know,
Yeah,
and we
right.
were, and
You're
we
right.
kept getting the promises that they were
Yeah,
coming
but-
out, and I was just hoping that the
No.
scientists were able to figure something out because you really count on all those people
No.
when you
You're right,
need
though,
them.
Rose. I mean, I feel bad I didn't put that in my little Facebook thing I was doing earlier because I know there's a ton of things that were positive, and I just am not thinking of them right now. But
Oh.
that's one of them. I'm thankful
Oh,
to
yeah.
have the vaccine and be boosted, and so if I do get this stupid
Right.
thing, it's just gonna be like a
No,
cold
I-
or something.
I'm just the opposite. I believed Trump when he said it was going to be over in June, and I'm very disappointed in 21 because that lasted all year.
Lasted all year. It's still going on.
Well, yeah, and in April you didn't get to go to Easter.
Oh yeah.
Because remember,
I mean, it's still happening, and we're all a little bummed about that. But hey, at least you guys are here this time. We missed last year's hanging out together.
Well, it's here in December. I left December 9th.
Oh, that's right. You came out, to take care of some things.
Because the operation had to come
medically.
early.
Yes, medical stuff.
the nice thing is though, this trip wasn't around operations.
This
you
trip
just
was
had
about
to have a checkup.
double checking and knowing
Well,
you're
for
fine.
him, it's really nice because it took him a little while to recover from all those
Yeah,
Well,
surgeries.
You went through a lot and you got through
you did.
it.
Yeah, so
Well, I'm hoping 2022 is a much better year than the last few.
Of course, now you're snowed in and can't go anywhere. If it's not one
Yeah.
thing, it's another.
You brought the
know.
snow back to us.
every time I always used to say, well, I'll come out here and miss a month of winter. and I tell
We
'em-
came out here and we got a month of winter.
Yeah,
and I tell them I can go walking and everything. And of course, so that all that changed this year.
Well, you brought winter with you.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it kind of
We got a little bit of
feels like.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's finally getting colder than we are here right now.
Wow.
Well,
It's finally getting colder than that. So
I feel fortunate
yeah.
that the snow hit so hard because I was able to. My work closed and gave me a free week to stay home to stay safe, and I got to hang out with you guys. So
Yeah.
that was cool.
yeah,
It was fun. I wouldn't have had to spend that time with you guys otherwise. So I'm thankful for that.
yeah. And I didn't have to wait for. I usually lay in bed and wait for you get done in the bathroom to go to work. I didn't have to because you
Did
were
everything.
you were still in bed.
True story. Yeah.
I knew if I had to go to the bathroom, I'd run downstairs. No
Yeah.
big deal.
Well,
But I didn't want to get in your way.
well, I appreciate that, but
Yeah.
that's the good thing about having two bathrooms, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Thanks for being our first
Okay.
podcast of the last day of the year.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We've actually done 3 podcasts in total, and we always say we're going to keep going with other friends and stuff. The first 2 were both with the same person, like 2 years apart, with Sean DeTore, our buddy.
Yes.
And then I don't know what happened to those. Maybe they're out there somewhere. I don't know what we did with them. But we have a YouTube channel now that I just started up, and we'll put this one up there on there with just a photo or something and play the audio. Maybe that photo. I
right.
like that photo of you guys in the Stereo Ember shirts that I have of you guys. That's a pretty cool photo.
Oh yeah, that is.
Maybe I'll put that up, and then we'll just.
Oh, I don't have it. You took it earlier?
Oh yeah, we took it a couple years ago.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Stereo Ember. We haven't gone to
Oh, you're
see.
wearing that right now.
Yeah.
The sweatshirt.
Oh, that's awesome. You're wearing it now.
I'm going to take. Yeah, we'll go back up a little bit. I'll take the shirt off. All right.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure we could have thought of something better to talk about. But
Oh, I think that was fascinating. I liked it a lot.
It's great just to hang out and
It's
talk.
just chit chatting and storytelling and all that.
Cheers to 2021. See you later
Yeah,
in about 3 hours.
and we'll turn the lights out on that
And
one.
then
yeah, I guess.
onward to 2022.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right,
Love
guys.
you, Mom and Dad.
Congratulations.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Love you too.
All right. Good night now.
Uh.